Hello, this is episode 5 of the Bedroom Studios official podcast. I am the host, Michael Butts, and I am joined here with Bedroom Studios clientele, Mr. Ken Cashin.
Hello.
How you doing there, Ken?
Great to be here.
It's great to have you here. It's great to always, have you coming back for all more and more originals.
Yep.
Yeah. So in the post leading up to recording today, I posted. I don't know if I hit it on the nose or not, but you've been doing songwriting and playing for over a decade now, have you?
That's right. Yep. No, I read it. Yeah, pretty much bang on. Yep.
And so you've been just hanging around open mics and open jams and just letting the originals run loose, have you?
Pretty much. Yep. I guess I started sort of at the old open mic on. What was it called? It wasn't called the Free Jam. It was just Danny Banfield's open mic at the old Split Crow in Bedford. That's really where I got into it big time.
And so what was the vibe kind of the same now, or?
At that point, it's pretty much what it is now over at Sackville, except they didn't have a drummer and it wasn't as organized. It wasn't, you would just show up and play your song and hope people played along. Now they get it, it's all organized where you send in your song a few days before and everyone practices it and then they play it when you get there. But back then you just show up and say, I want to play this song or I want to play my original. And people would say, okay, go ahead. And then they try to play along with you. So that's how that worked. That was fun.
So it was definitely a build-up or a very, kind of perpetual process to get to where it is now.
Yeah, that open mic kind of grew organically. And, one of my songs, as you know, that we recorded here, Hey, Your Mom Will Play That Thing, was written about that first open mic and kind of, inspired by, well, definitely Danny Banfield, the guy that, ran the open mic, but more so Jermamba, who took it over, and he was sort of like the poster boy for open micers back then. Before he ran the open mic, he was the guy that showed up every night, without fail. In fact, he played at that open mic more than Danny Banfield did, and Danny ran it. Because once in a while, Danny would, he'd have to stay home or whatever, and he would get somebody else to host it. This is before Jer Mambo used to co-host it. But so Jer actually played at that open mic more often than Danny did.
Wow.
And that sort of inspired me to write that song.
And it was just the fact because he just showed up with like something different, a different instrument every week or something like that? Or just...
well, not so much. He would just play such a variety of instruments. But when I was writing that, I was using Jer Mambo definitely as an example for real, but also he represented for me open micers that might play drums, they might play harmonica, they might play saxophone, whatever they do, they just show up and try to contribute. So he was sort of like, I guess the term would be every man or every open micer.
A Swiss Army knife.
Yeah, he's a Swiss Army knife, and he represented, well, every open micer, but also the commitment to music, just being a nice guy, being friendly. He was the perfect open micer.
Oh, that's good. People like that are very, rare to come by for starters. And,
definitely.
But it's good to have them around, especially, if they don't act like a dick.
Well, yeah, exactly. He was, he inspired me as a musician too, just to, to keep going and to, never quit, keep coming back, keep developing your skills, your talent, and just to play for the fun of it. I guess that's the main thing with all of this, is to play because you like to play. And if things fall into place, sure, they fall into place, but it doesn't matter. You're there for one reason only, is to enjoy music and share music with other people. That's it.
That's what it should be. That's what it should. You should, that definitely have the level of professionalism, but then at the same time, if you're super serious, then everyone's going to be miserable. Have fun, for crying out loud.
For crying out loud, yes.
And now it's that he's has migrated over into, my hometown, Lower Sackville. It's still bumping every week because I go down sometimes, and I always see you ripping out the originals.
Yep.
And then, as I've been there longer and longer, people go, oh, yeah, he's been doing those for a decade.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
I remember when I first did, I did, I think 2, maybe even 3 of my songs in a row. It was one of the first times I was at Danny Banfield's open mic. I did New Little Song. I did Ain't No App and something else. And Danny said, geez, those are good songs. Whose songs are they? I said, oh, those are my songs. And he just looked at me like, those are your songs? I said, yeah. I just wrote them like a couple months ago. He said,
That's
cool.
good. When you have someone, like that, and that are very seasoned and they compliment on your songs, it always feels great to hear that bit of a affirmation. They're like, oh, wow, those are your songs? Those are so incredible.
Yeah, no, definitely. He was inspiring as well. So, and everybody has been. You have been, jamming through the night, Jacob, Nick, but everybody that I run into, there's a real Sackville, Bedford musical community. It's undeniable.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
I can say right now, if you go into each different part of the municipality, the municipality spreads all the way to basically just before Windsor or before Elmsdale or something like that, or just right before Lawrencetown. But yeah, if you stay in that Bedford Sackville area, it is so different from Dartmouth, and it is so different from Halifax.
Yes.
And then also, Dartmouth depends on what part of Dartmouth too.
Yeah.
There's such a divide, even though everyone coincides with different open mics or open jams.
Yeah.
But I shouldn't say attitude, because all attitudes are friendly, but it's the feel.
Yeah, there's a community aspect, like we're all in this together and everybody knows everybody. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. But then of course, if that was ideal, we would have all the attitudes would be the same everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you go out a lot, you see a lot. That's the thing. I even said that to Daryl. You go out a lot, you see a lot. You don't go out a lot, you don't see a lot.
Yeah.
And when it comes to your originals, what was the first one you ever written?
It was actually New Little Song.
That was the first one.
The first, yeah, definitely. Yeah, no, it was the first song. It's basically about keeping the home fires burning at home in a relationship. And I just thought of the most simplest thing I could do, and I went with the 145. And I've always liked country, but growing up, I was a 70s kid. I was into rock, stadium rock, Kiss, Rush. Those were my two big, as a teen, the groups that I was into. But as you get older, you look at more rootsy kind of music. So I thought, well, maybe I'll just give it a sort of a country feel, and I just went for it. And the result was New Little Song. And I always liked the title too. I was thinking, okay, I'm gonna write what am I writing here? Well, I'm writing a new song. Oh, new little song. Yeah, I'll go with that. So it just kind of went like that.
I like that. And basically, that. It's so hard to describe that. Blues, country, rockabilly, they all do the same thing basically, but it's in basic blues you don't really have a chorus. You just throw the title of the track wherever you want on the song, and you keep it the same way every spot. Sometimes I hear it right at the beginning, like that, or I hear it as soon as you go to the 4, or sometimes you hear it on the turnaround. That's what I like. You can just make your chorus wherever you want.
Yeah.
And then it's that's where you draw the attention with the audience. A good example would probably be I've Always Been Crazy by Waylon Jennings.
Right.
He starts with that, and then he'll start with I've Always Been Crazy, and then the last verse is technically it's all choruses basically, but the last one he actually starts and ends with I've always been crazy, but it's kept me from going insane. It's a good song, roughly the same, 1, 4, and 5.
Yeah.
But Waylon likes to break all the rules and all that stuff. Technically, and if we treated that as country, that'd definitely be a rule break tune as well. I like that because it's not really back in the day, stuff had to be exactly like this.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't do what you want, but you, even with other blues tunes or other songs, you did what you want. You did what you want. You're like, this is my song, I'll do it.
Exactly. Yeah, you can.
Especially with Frank Zappa's on the phone, probably one of your biggest songs right now, most popular ones, because you've played all your originals. You probably got 2 million songs now. But Frank Zappa's on the phone. That's definitely a very energetic one, and it's very how the song is ended, or ended up being. It's got to be you got to be on some Adderall if you want to do this one.
Yeah, so that's a minor blues. So I always liked minor blues, even before I knew what it was. I remember I was listening to "Since I've Been Loving You" by Led Zeppelin on the third album, and the song comes on, and it's really moody, and I don't even know if I knew the term blues then, but then I heard that song, and then I found out, oh, that's minor blues, and it's like, oh, well then I guess I like minor blues because I love that style, that kind of minor chords in a blues setting. That is cool. So that's where I was coming from when I wrote Frank Zappa's On the Phone. And actually the chords, not the way I play them, like I repeat that, F sharp to G, F sharp to G, F sharp to G 3 times, but it's sort of loosely based on The Thrill Is Gone by B.B. King. It's basically the same chord structure. Changed around a bit, and that's you can't get any more classic minor blues than that, right?
Oh, of course.
Yeah, so I always loved that. So that's musically, that's where that's coming from. And as for the lyrics and everything, well, that's a whole other broadcast.
I mean, you can say it. What was the reason for the lyrics?
Yeah, well, that that goes way back. Where would I even give you the short version of the story? I was working in Toronto after I studied journalism there, and as soon as I got out, I didn't really have a job, so I worked at a bookstore. And I worked with this guy named Howard, and he was going to school at the time. He was going to York University. And we got along because we started talking music, and we realized very quickly that we had a lot in common. And he was telling me, oh, yeah, I'm taking this course on the history of rock and roll, and it's really awesome. There's like a 2-year waiting list to get into this course. And I said, oh, that's really cool. Tell me about it. And he said, well, yeah, there's this teacher, man. His name is Rob Bowman. He's friggin' awesome. Everybody loves the course. And I said, okay, cool. And I just kind of parked that in my mind. And then I ended up moving back to Halifax. And a few years later, I was listening to a radio segment that it was kind of interesting. They were interviewing this, rock and roll or musicologist, I guess the word is. And then I heard the name Rob Bowman. I said, oh, hold it now. Isn't that guy that my friend Howard was talking about? And then, in the interview, they said, oh, yeah, he teaches at York University. And I was saying, yeah, that's the guy. And then he went on, this Rob Bowman guy went into this long story about how he got into how he amassed this knowledge of rock and roll. And what happened is he started at a very young age working for Now magazine in Toronto. And he used to have to interview rock musicians. And so he told this story how from a very early age he would do things like the following. He would be, out in his street playing hockey, and before he was playing hockey, he probably phoned up some rock musician to get them to phone him back, and so he could do the interview. So while he's waiting, he's going into playing hockey in his front, in the street, and then with his 15-year-old friends, and his mother comes to the door. Young man, you get in here right now. Frank Zappa's on the phone. So that's what that was about. And then I said, that's kind of a cool idea to myself. And then eventually I wrote that song. And, I kind of went crazy with the lyrics. I ended up going on this theme that Frank Zappa wants to, because at that point Frank had died. I got this idea. How about if Frank wants to reincarnate himself through this teenage boy? He wants to use this teenage boy's body. He wants to clone it. But I thought, well, how's he going to do that? Oh, well, okay. He's sort of a wizard, right, at feedback and music and guitar. So how about if he, through the medium of telephony, he somehow uses his wizardry and reincarnates himself through, techno wizardry. And that was the idea behind Frank Zappa's On the Phone.
I do like it though, and yeah, the lyrics speak for itself. People who don't know the story, they'll think of that and they'll be like, oh, is it kind of like the ghost of Frank Zappa just trying to communicate with this individual?
More or less.
Yeah. Now and then it's just like, no, he's coming back. He's too angry to die.
Yeah. He wants to live. He's kind of like that guy that what's that movie, Blade Runner? I want more life. He's kind of like that character, the Rutger Hauer character.
I do like it though. It's wonky, which is what Frank Zappa is.
Yeah.
That's the best way to describe him. And it's definitely a song for the weird. If you like the weird, then this is definitely a song.
Yeah.
For that, it's a good homage to what Frank Zappa was capable of as well.
Yeah, basically you can do whatever you want. I don't know if you've ever seen this interview, but if you go on YouTube, there's this video of Frank Zappa, and he looks like a nerd. It's before he's really Frank Zappa. He just got out of like music school, short hair, suit on, really prim and proper. I don't even think he's got his mustache going yet, right? He's just a nerd. And I think it's the Steve Allen show. And he turns a bicycle upside down and starts making music out of the spokes and the wheels and the horn. It's just incredible. Like the creativity is off the chart. And at that point, he's not even really Frank Zappa yet. He's becoming Frank Zappa. And it's friggin', you should check it out.
Oh shoot! Okay.
Yeah, it's black and white, and he's got the suit on, and it's crazy. Like you look at it, that's Frank Zappa. Yep, there he is.
Yeah, as a person growing up, like I've heard the name Frank Zappa several times, and I was always like, okay, this dude makes some weird music, guaranteed. That was the first thing that came to my mind. Then I actually listened to it, and I was like, yeah, he makes some weird music.
He does.
And listening to Primus, so I'm not like, well, you say this garbage and turn it off. It's I can understand, what the thought process is in making the approach for your music.
Yeah.
Because all Primus music is, anyone can call it weird, right? But no one's really doing Primus covers or Frank Zappa covers. But that's. I have a friend who calls it musician's music.
Right.
Yeah. So if you're like a musician, you're gonna love that.
Yes.
Yeah. But it's, I find that, like anyone should like anything.
Musician, like kind of like a Tom Waits. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. But that's probably what I've seen with Frank or even Primus themselves. I remember Frank was, what was that big friggin' scandal about in the 90s? There was like these white women talking about songs.
Tipper Gore, Al's wife. Dee Snider's on there. Yeah, I know exactly.
I remember Frank was on there, and he pretty much just called them stupid.
Yeah,
that was funny.
Yeah, he had didn't suffer fools gladly, definitely, which is awesome, and you shouldn't.
Yeah, and that I mean, Gore's take on music was absolutely tone deaf as well.
Oh God, yeah. Yeah.
It's just like, this man's just doing what he wants to do. Yeah. He's not influencing anybody on anything. They don't need to censorship that.
No, it was just dumb.
No, it's just like, just say you don't understand his music, and we'll carry on with life.
Yeah. The whole idea there is, again, just be creative. That's what the 70s was all about. You could kind of get away with almost anything you wanted, and people bought it, and people came to the concert.
Yeah, I mean...
Yeah.
What was it? Deep Purple was a super group.
Yeah.
Of different... famous musicians from already famous bands.
Yeah.
And then their hit was Smoke on the Water.
Yeah, awesome song.
And then, even though, don't get me wrong, they now have a bunch of hits.
Yeah.
Right, but that was the one, and all they did was just like, funny enough, they were watching a Frank Zappa concert.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, Frank Zappa, and then some idiot shot a flare.
Yes, that's right. Too.
And in this mantra place, and then Frank Zappa was like, everyone get out, there's a fire.
Right. Yeah, good segue there from Frank Zappa to Deep Purple.
But I mean, definitely, just being at that Zappa concert definitely had the inspiration to write Smoke on the Water.
Yes.
Right? Even though that song's not weird at all, but it's, such a cult, or such a famous guitar line now.
Oh, yeah.
But, they had nothing for that song until they went to that Frank show.
Right.
Yeah, you can go back in interviews and look that up.
Is that right?
They were going nowhere, and they just needed to finish this album, this 11, or I think it was a 10 or 11 piece album.
Yeah.
And then they just went down to go see Frank, and disaster struck. Everyone got out safe, but then just being at that Frank show, that's what caused Smoke on the Water to happen.
Right. Yeah, that's an awesome song.
I don't know if he has writing credits or stuff like that, but, or like homage credits.
Yeah, this is really 6 degrees of Frank Zappa.
But, so I've only done... in terms of bedroom studios, I've only done 5-year songs
Yeah.
right now. So we've done Frank Zappa's On the Phone,
Yeah.
Blue Nose Baby, Hey
Yeah.
Jermumbo,
Yep.
New Little Song,
Little song. Yep.
and Ain't No App for Love.
Ain't No App. Yeah.
Yeah, that one, that's ready to come out.
and
We got to
also
think of some artwork for that.
Yes. True. Oh, that's true. Stargazing. Don't forget Stargazing.
Stargazing Over User Valley. Yes, so I've done 6 songs.
Yeah.
That's also a good one as well. So you have I said this with Raw back in the first episode. What's the best way to describe yourself? Scenario guy or story guy?
Never thought about that.
So didn't he.
Maybe scenario guy. I guess if those are the choices, it's hard to really tell a story. I guess the only song of mine that really literally tells a story, kind of from start to finish, would be "Stargazing." That was the hardest song to write. Probably lyrically, it's probably in some ways maybe my best song in terms of, because like I said, it's hard to tell a story linearly. It's very hard to make it interesting and to actually tell the whole story in, the arc of the story from front to back. It's not easy at all.
Definitely, Skip Ewing would probably be a good influence for making stories.
Who?
Skip Ewing?
Never heard of Skip.
Oh, what was it? I learned of Skip Ewing around Sweater Weather 2, and I think I showed Mom Make Time.
Okay, yeah.
Or something like that. And she said, have I ever heard of Skip Ewing?
Right.
And I was like, who the hell is Skip Ewing?
Yeah.
And he's, I guess you call him country.
Okay.
But, stories.
Right.
All he does, he just tells stories.
Right.
And he's a really good, oh goodness, any diehard Skip Ewing fans, they heard this, they'd probably crucify me. But,
Right.
Best way, I'd probably put him in like the same category as Eddie Rabbit.
Oh, okay.
And something like that. They both look good,
Right.
Right,
Yeah.
Eddie Rabbit looked good,
Yeah.
Skip Ewing looks good. And, but they still have that, they kind of have that same feel. I mean, Eddie Rabbit has slow songs, kind of like, what's a good slow song by Eddie Rabbit? Suspicions.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good slow one. The ones I've heard from Skip are slow
Yeah.
and sad. But it's still, it's stories.
Yep.
And I do find that such a divide, though. Stories and scenarios when it comes to putting out songs and all that stuff.
Yep.
Yes. I honestly would have categorized Frank Zappa's On the Phone as a story, basically.
I suppose. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's right.
And then, all the other ones. I mean, Hey Jermumbo, you can probably call that a story.
Sure.
Yeah, tribute.
Tribute. Yeah, I
Tribute,
guess that's
yeah.
more of a tribute. But it's funny that you should ask a question like that, scenario or story. I never really thought about it in those terms. I basically just come up with an idea and just try to, wrap some music around it. But I usually just start with an idea. The weirder, the better, basically. Well, one of my heroes musically, Tom Waits, he says, always, no matter how weird your idea is, always have the courage to complete it. And, that's true. Like, anybody can get a weird idea, but to actually complete a song starting with a weird idea, that's hard. It's not easy because, you chicken out. It's like, no, that's too weird. Nobody's going to believe that. I don't even believe it. And, you know what I mean?
I like that, though. I do like that, the leap of confidence on going with your starting idea.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Exactly. I have songs that are, someone will listen to that and they'll be like, fuck, okay.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
And, I mean, before I did blues, I did pop for like 3 years.
Yeah.
And I put something out each year and I'm doing it again with the blues.
Yep.
But there's people now that I've met, and they're listening to the album 3 years later.
Yep.
Right? I went to Loose Cannon after hosting Resolutes.
Yep.
You should come out to there one time. They'll like your stuff.
Yeah, I will.
Friday nights.
Yep, I will.
It's either me or Leon that hosts.
Oh, yeah, Leon. I know Leon from Crookshanks, yeah.
Yeah, Leon Bullock, yep.
Yeah.
And, they'll eat it up. Good acoustics in there as well.
Oh, good, yeah. Down the south end there. Yeah.
Yep, right just slightly past St. Mary's. But anyway, so we went to the Cannon.
Yeah.
Tammy and I went to the Cannon to go catch up Shannon's show before she goes back to Scotland.
Yep.
Cam Hayes pulls me aside.
Oh, okay.
And he goes, we listened to your album today. And I was like, oh, which one? He's like, Summer Lovin' 3. And I was like, oh, Okay. In my head, I was like, oh, my mixes weren't great back then.
Yeah.
And then he's just like, bro, I loved it. It sounded incredible. Definitely something we weren't expecting to hear.
Yeah.
But it sounded so polished.
Yeah.
And we loved it. And I was like, oh, thanks. It's amazing. And that's, I think we stated this at the beginning now, but like just hearing that someone appreciates your work,
Yes.
of how like the whole process is, if they can get it at an open mic or an open jam where it's all stripped down,
Yeah.
and basically that live version is going to be that staple
Yeah.
version, can't be repeated again,
Yeah.
versus hearing that in studio recording, mixing, mastering, and someone just likes it.
Yeah.
You did something good there.
Yeah, it's hard to get people to even remember the name of your song, let alone to like tell
Nowadays,
you they like it.
Oh yeah, everyone's attention span's down the drain now, so you got to hit them with a catchy
Yeah,
hook.
I've always had this thought, like if you see a movie, and if you can't remember the main character's name, you couldn't have liked the movie very much.
Oh yeah,
Right. So if you can remember that somebody's name in the movie like 5 years later. Well, I guess that was a well-written character. So you definitely want someone to at least remember the name of your song, and then everything else is a bonus.
and that's been Hager Mumbo. That's like they'll either say like whatever verse, whatever, play that thing,
Yeah.
play guitar, saxophone, harmonica, beat the drums. So I'll hear people saying that, or if Frank Zappa's on the phone, that's the staple.
Yeah.
They'll say it like that. They'll do new little song.
Yeah.
The Hey, let's go and write up a new little song. Or Blue Nose Baby, the Bring Me On Back. Right, and it's just it's all catchy. So like you definitely hit the nail right or you definitely hit the bullseye center when it comes to writing your songs, let alone your choruses.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So you got people singing for them, you got people liking them, and obviously, if you look at the views on YouTube,
Yeah.
I mean, we obviously put them on Bedroom Studios after Bedroom Studios was made, but if you go back to my personal channel, including those views plus views on Bedroom Studios, I did the math today. It's over 1,100 views.
Wow.
And I'll say right now, you and David
Yeah.
are really drawing a crowd with these finished
That's awesome.
pieces.
That's awesome.
Right? You guys are really, people love your songs. You and David.
Love it. Yeah.
Right?
It's great.
David came here because of you.
Yep.
Where it was a word of mouth thing, and it's good to bring new people in and get new clients and all that, and get to meet new people and see how their songwriting works and see how their creativity works. Because I do like to brainstorm off of stuff you can we'll be completely honest here. You come in with lyrics, you come in with the guitar,
Yep.
and then you go, let's see where this goes from here.
Yeah.
You come in with the brain and the central nervous system, basically.
Yeah.
Right? And then the rest of the body's made.
Yeah. I want to make it easy for,
I even said that to Martin Hickey, right? Because
right?
you've been on CIOE, you also been on CKDU.
Yeah.
And I talked with Martin on Sunday. We were
Yeah.
outside seeing Michelle's show.
Yeah.
And I said to us, he comes in with a guitar and a voice, and that's basically the brain and the central nervous system, and then we build that body from scratch.
Exactly.
And he's like, really? I like that.
Yeah.
Right? So obviously, you had Martin liking your stuff too, so that's good when radio hosts like your stuff as well.
Definitely. I was going to say, and David Edgar is like this too. I know Dave for a while. You got to come up with an idea that's meaningful to you.
Yes.
If it's not meaningful to you, like really very much meaningful, if it's not meaningful to you, it's not going to be meaningful to anybody. So you can't just, come up with some half-ass idea that you don't even like yourself, because they won't like it.
Of course.
So, come up with something meaningful that you really think is interesting, and then the rest will take care of itself.
Leading on to that.
Yeah.
Okay. So what has a higher number
Yeah.
in terms of things?
Yeah.
Your finished songs?
Yeah.
Or songs that are like, nah, this is trash?
What do you mean? Oh, I see.
Yeah, leading off of what you just said, yeah.
Oh.
So do you have scrapped ideas or like, nah, nobody's going to like that?
Yeah.
Versus songs that are actually done?
Yeah, I got a lot of songs that are in the, in the recycle bin in my mind. I don't know, maybe, I see where you're going with this, maybe because they might be decent songs, but they weren't necessarily as meaningful to me as others were. Yeah, I see where you're going. That's possible. Yeah.
Because I have a handful of those too.
Yeah.
Obviously, like, my mind changes, every year on what I do.
Yeah.
So I had this, like, I think 21 track album.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I think I maybe pulled like 4 out of it,
Wow. Yeah.
and like the rest are just in the gutter.
Yeah.
I'm not touching them again, you know.
Yeah. I'm writing a song now. Well, you know the story because you were with me when it happened.
Oh, jeez, yeah. We don't got to talk about that.
But I could just say what it's about. It's basically about well, we'll say a train incident that could
Oh,
have gone really
God.
bad.
Yeah, you'll have to. Anyone that's gonna question that on this podcast, they'll have to talk to me or Ken and be like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
Yeah. Well, anyway, that's what I'm working on.
Yeah.
Basically, you could say it was what am I looking for?
Not to take life for granted.
Yeah, there you go. Let's just go with that. Not to take life for granted because it could end at any moment. So, really try
Death
to...
is watching, so be respectful.
It's just around the corner,
Yeah.
So you got to live your life, right? So we'll just leave it at that.
God damn it!
But I'm going to be bringing that here, and we're going to be doing it.
No.
I don't know what it's going to go
That's
like.
probably gonna be. That's probably gonna be like what, another 6-minute song, like Stargazing.
No. I might. I don't know what I'm
make
gonna
it a
do.
6-minute song.
I don't know what I'm going to do with it. It's probably not going to be a literal, like a linear story. It's just going to use the main idea. Yeah, we'll talk.
I can definitely hear that as probably like a country tune, a sad country
It
tune.
could be. Yeah, you could go almost any way. I'll have to figure it out. But that's been in my brain since it happened 1 year ago. It's like almost the first anniversary of that incident.
Oh Jesus! Yeah, time flies.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. But when it comes to songs, everyone's got to find something
Yeah.
so they can put the pen to paper and actually
Yeah.
start flowing lyrics and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So, are you one of those people like me where it's like takes so goddamn long to get the pen going,
Yeah.
or are you one of those people that are like, you know what? Let's go.
Once I get inspired, the pen gets going pretty fast.
So okay, yeah. So yeah, like me, but it's like, does it take forever to find inspiration? Is that what I'm saying?
It takes a while. Yep, it takes like a near-death incident.
Oh God.
It takes a while. Yeah, yeah. It goes back to what I was saying earlier. It takes a while for an event or a thought to be really meaningful, and until it gets to that level, to the boiling point, I don't even worry about it, and it doesn't, It doesn't beg for my creative attention. But if something is meaningful, it does, like, okay, shit, now I got to write about this. Okay, all right, where's the pen? That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I started doing well. I mostly tell stories. Like all my old stuff, like Sorry I Won't Cut It Anymore.
Yeah.
It's Not Me It's You. Dragged Along. 1 Step Forward, 2 Steps Back.
Yeah.
Make Time.
Yeah.
What Do You Want From Me? Those are all stories.
Yeah.
And the occasional time I will do scenarios.
Yeah.
So I'm trying scenarios out.
Yeah.
What I've noticed is, like, when it comes to scenarios, even with the new blues stuff, because that's supposed to be Nick and I,
Yeah.
I've noticed when it comes to scenarios, just Nick just so happens to not be there, because he is
Right.
busy.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's just like, man, did I even need him? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's better guitarist than I am. His solos are way better than mine.
Well, you're pretty good too, man.
I mean, mine are kept within like a box where he just gets to jump everywhere and does whatever he wants to do. But I'm not a fan of writing solos. I'll say that to anybody. I don't like writing solos.
Well, you've done a few good ones on my songs.
Thank you. I mean, Frank Zappa's On the Phone was all you. That was a real good one. That was a shiner right there. Ain't No App for Love. That one was, yeah. I mean, the mood just kept going, even though it was minor blues, but the mood just kept going to surf.
That was interesting I love that process. Remember when you and I were in this very studio and it just...
Yeah, grabbed your telly, yeah.
It's just like, that sounds like surf music. I did not have that in mind, but when your ideas and my ideas came together, it's like, yeah, that's kind of surf music. That's really cool, and it kind of works. Neat.
I think what really kicked it off was like just the drum pattern.
The drum,
Boom,
yeah.
cat, boom, I put cat,
Yeah.
boom, cat, boom, I put cat, boom. And that just went.
Yeah, but I love that process, how creativity just kind of goes where it goes, and you just kind of follow it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you see something interesting, keep it going. Just go with it.
That was the same thing with Jordan, actually. We were in this very room, and he just started playing something.
Yeah.
And I walked over. My drum kit was set up, and I just started playing some randomness.
Yeah.
So, song literally just had acoustic guitar and drums done.
Yeah.
And he started working on other stuff. He had, like, lyrics, kind of. And then he put his stuff on there, and he sent me... or he came over and did the lyrics. I did bass, and he wrote intro solo. I wrote, like, a mid-song solo. That's the song I'm talking about is "The Fear of Again."
Okay, yeah.
It was a good one. It was a real good one. There was so much going on there. It just started with acoustic guitar and drums. He had a bass line. Then I put on a different bass line, and he was like, "Oh man, what is this? This is a different bass line." He had an intro guitar solo. I had to learn it to record it. Then I thought of a guitar solo. Just a little more energy because it was like on a bridge where it died down and it came back up.
Yeah.
It was yeah, and then just right at the end it was just super energetic. Yeah, all this choir going. I was there like 30 tracks for my choir.
Wow.
It was just a lot going on.
Yeah.
But I do like where things just start small, and then it's just like, what the picture looks like.
Yeah.
Even though like there's only a few brush strokes on it.
Yeah.
I do like that, and that's been with like a lot of your songs, because it's like I hear it, and it's just like, okay, yeah, I see what's going on here.
Yes. Yeah.
Do you have that kind of picture as well, or is it just like here's what I got with a guitar and voice? Like, do you hear something as well, or?
That's a good question. Yeah, I kind of develop things organically. I try different things in terms of like the music. You mean? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just try things out, and whatever's. If something is starting to work, mm-hmm. well then pursue that.
I mean, like in your head, like portraying. Obviously, people are just going to see you with a Telecaster and your voice, right?
Yeah.
Or your acoustic guitar and your voice. Do you in your head picture a full band and you hear a mix as well?
Not really. No.
No?
No, not really. I don't think. Well, actually, for Open Up the Day for the chorus, yes. So I had written that chorus before I even had an idea for the rest of the song. That whole I open up the day. I think I even had the chords for that. So I had that little block kind of done a long time ago. And it was sort of a chorus in search of a song. And then the rest of it kind of came, about a year or so after that. So in that case, yes. And I did see it as kind of, let's call it stadium rock, kind of like a big sound, big chorus.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So in that instance, yes, but usually I don't. I just kind of let the songs where they go where they go. But I have that in mind, that kind of big chorus.
I do like it though. That song, it kind of feels like, feels a mix of like Under the Bridge.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
the Chili Peppers when it's calm.
Yeah.
And then it builds up a little bit. You still feel Chili Peppers, and then it kind of feels like BTO.
Yes, it does feel like BTO.
Yeah, you get that little bit of Chili Peppers and BTO in there, so it's like, I don't know what you call it. You can call that lounge, I guess. And then when it builds up, then you call it like dad rock.
Yeah, dad rock, exactly.
That's the best way. Yeah. Nowadays, you just call everything dad rock.
Dad rock, yeah. No,
classic rock is dad rock.
Dad rock. That's a good way to put it. Yeah, sneakers and jeans, kind of. Yeah.
Sneakers, jeans. Oh, well, what's the
mullet? Hair in the back.
Mullet. I would have said fro. Yeah.
Fro. Yeah.
Fro, big stash, aviators.
Yeah, that kind of a thing. Definitely.
So, obviously you've given a few songs to me to work on.
Yep.
So we've done Open Up the Day.
Yep.
And we kind of turned that into like, definitely a lounge / dad rock tune.
Yep.
And then we did God's Blood.
God's Blood, yeah. That was sort of a dream, those ideas.
Really?
Yeah, that kind of came to me in a dream, especially that part about how's that lyric? Can't even remember my own lyric about, the baby held up high, let the bells ring. That was actually in a dream. I know this sounds like I'm making it up, but it's actually true. I remember waking up kind of with that idea in my head of the baby being held up. And it's like, is this a sacrifice or is it just an innocent, christening? Like, what's going on here? And I wasn't sure myself, but I knew, I got to do something with that. That's kind of spooky.
I like that. And, Jacob put he did his own words for the second verse, which were pretty good.
Yeah, I like that. And I love how his ideas are so different from mine, but you put them together, it's almost like I came in with this kind of dark vision, and then he put some optimism in there. It's a nice little sandwich. It really is. I thought it was great.
Yeah,
those two ideas go together.
I remember when you presented it to me, you were like, "Oh, I want something heavy," and then I was immediately like, "Oh yeah, we can do that." And then as soon as you said drop D, I was like, "Okay."
Yeah.
So I would have went like drop C.
Right.
That song would have been a whole D minor would have been C minor. It would have been dropped C, just that's still D.
Right.
And yeah, it would have been a lot heavier. Definitely started that off with the drums, and then the inspiration probably would have been like Foo Fighters.
Okay. Yep.
And then Brian comes in and just does a solo.
Yeah, that solo that he did, it's almost like a chainsaw coming through. It just buzzes right through.
Yeah, that was a fuzz pedal and an overdrive pedal.
Yeah. Going
through that Fender Mustang 1 over there.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I specifically put it on a clean tone, and then I put the pedals on.
Good. Yeah. Nice.
But yeah, it was just...
Oh my God. Yeah, it's scary.
And then I think, there's two guitars. The main one was distortion pedal.
Yeah.
And the second one was actually the fuzz and overdrive as well.
Okay.
And that one was lower in the mix. And the drums are just, boom, boom, ka, boom, boom, ka, boom, boom, ka, boom, boom, ka, boom, ka.
Yeah.
And then the bass is just following the guitar, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And it was just fun to think of stuff to do. I just kept it around, maybe 3 or 4 chords.
Yeah.
I think, I just kept it around D minor, B flat, and C. And I think I added in just an F in there.
Right.
And that was it. And then I had those big drop D 5 chords, like Foo Fighters or Nickelback does them sometimes.
Yeah.
But I was just I need a bridge. And I was like, Jacob, you got anything for the bridge here? And he's like, no. And I'm like, all right. All right, move on.
Right.
I was like, you have all this poem here.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, I got nothing. I'm like, okay, cool, moving on. But no, it's still good because then it's just the drums change a little bit. Just just a nice breakaway from the chorus. Brian comes in the solo again. You calm down, and then you build back up. It was a good one.
Yeah,
I do like it. And then just the heavy D5 just ringing out.
Yeah,
yeah, I do like that. It was a good setup. I really did like it. We played it live actually the day before release at a show.
Oh, good.
Yeah, Brian was in the crowd. He liked it.
Oh, okay.
That was the one we had Bologna, Colorado open for us.
Oh, okay.
And Cam Hayes. It was a
nice.
really, really good show.
Yeah.
I wish more people did come out, but we had a lot of people dancing. It was real good. It would have been good to see you there too, so we'd show you the song live. And what's the one he sent me now? I Want Your Rhythm, Not Your Blues.
Yeah.
So I'm throwing that one on the new blues album.
Yeah, that's going to sound. You played me parts of that. That's going to sound really good.
Yeah, I got that R&B feel, kind of just and then have the solo going on. I'm just gonna keep it bluesy, and all that jazz.
Yeah, you can't beat R&B. Just to pull at the heartstrings. It's just cool when it goes from the major one to the minor two. That's very simple but effective.
Yeah, and then basically in blues fashion, you have a 4 and 5 in there on the chorus.
Yeah,
which is nice. You bring the 6 in basically as well, which is real nice, which is a minor thing to do, actually bring in the 6. And I do like how certain chords flow into one another based on all contextuals. Like most things, like Unchain My Heart's G minor, and at the near the end of the chorus is the Unchain My Heart and set me free. That's the 6 to the 5.
Okay, yeah.
And then goes back to the 1, and it's so nice. I mean, even do it on Frank Zappa's On the Phone.
Yeah.
6 to 5, you go G F sharp, G F sharp, G F sharp.
Yeah.
It was real nice, and you just throw it in there. You go 4, 6, 4, 5, and it's just whoa.
Yeah.
And you come back, and you're grounded back to the 1, which is nice and pretty.
Yeah.
I do like that. So, the ones. So we've talked about Open Up Day. We talked about God's Blood. So what was the reason for I Want Your Rhythm, Not Your Blues?
What was that one? That's sort of kind of same theme as New Little Song, kind of keeping the home fires burning, but a little more, kind of more details thrown in there.
That's kind of like New Little Song Part 2?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Yes.
Okay. So, New Little Song feels like, honestly, when I first heard New Little Song, I didn't think it was about, keeping the fires burning. I thought it was just about, hey, we're bored, let's go do something.
Oh, well, that's cool, too. That's a nice thing about music is the writer's intent is really irrelevant to the listener.
Yeah.
As long as it, imparts meaning to the listener, even if it's completely different from what the writer intended, that's totally legit. That's totally legit.
And now I feel the Keep the Fires Burning sense with I Want Your Rhythm, Not Your Blues. We got the lyrics right here.
Yeah.
right? You know, like right off the bat, one of them, give me your A game, not the same old same. And I'm like, God damn, how complacent are these guys? You know?
Yeah.
Or like, where's the other one? Yeah, somehow, somewhere, our love went wrong. We stayed playing a different song. And I was like, whoa, shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is where it feels like, there's complacency and then, the fires need to keep burning.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's a
Yeah,
little more
that's where I feel it.
direct. Yeah. Explicit. Yeah.
Yeah. But that one is just like, let's get wild here, shall we? Like that one, new little song, so let's get weird here,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess both songs sort of use music as a metaphor. Definitely New Little Song, like literally. That's an interesting idea, to use music as a,
And of course,
metaphor.
that one's, rockabilly country tune. You can get people up and dancing to that one.
Yeah.
And this is more of a waltz,
Yes.
Definitely new little song. You get people up and dancing,
Yeah.
right? If you had a band behind you and you actually, started playing a bunch of your songs, you'd probably, get people up and dancing to
New Little Song, definitely. That's a toe
You'd
tap.
probably get people dancing to, what would you get people dancing to that I know of? Probably Ain't No App. Probably get people dancing as well.
Ain't No App. Yeah, that's a toe tapper. Could be. Got that surf
And then,
kind of feel.
but then if you finished off with "Want Your Rhythm, Not Your Blues," it'd probably get people like waltzing.
Waltzing, yeah, that's sort of a waltz. Yeah.
Yeah, I do like it. And when I first heard it, I was like, this needs a key change.
Right. Yeah. No, I'm really optimistic about this song. I think.
Yeah, we're gonna get the lovely Michelle Calder on.
Oh
this.
yeah, she'll do a great job.
It's
She
gonna
sang
evolve.
on my song "Blue Nose Baby." That's the first one I did with you.
Yep. It went real well. She comes in on the chorus, and
I suppose I suppose that one's a story too. I guess now that I think.
Were you
about it.
working in out west?
No, but it tells the story of a guy, fictional character that does. So
Okay.
yeah, that is a story.
Okay.
I never realized that.
My favorite lyric, actually no, Mum's favorite lyric on that song is the "Tell the boss to go pound sand."
Yeah.
But you see, they do that too in Alberta land. She roared when she heard that the first time. She friggin' roared
That's funny.
because that all her family on the Cape Breton side all say that, "Go pound sand."
Right. Yeah. That's right too.
Oh, when I first heard that one time growing up, and I was like, "What? I'm sorry, what did you just say? What does that mean?" But I love that. It's like, I tell the boss to go pound sand. You see, they do that too in Alberta land, which is just an absolute jab, and I love it. It's so funny. And then a solo that was put on, it was real nice. I mean, all we did was just we just kept the
Did the Kurt Cobain thing.
yeah. Not the dying thing, but like just soloing the verse line.
Yeah.
So whatever he sung, he played the guitar solo.
Perfect. It's a great method. Why reinvent the wheel? Just do what's already there. Just make it guitar.
Yeah. Who else does that too? Weezer does that a little bit too.
Yeah.
They did that with Hash Pipe or Island on the Sun.
Right.
Maybe a little bit of Buddy Holly, that song.
Okay.
But yeah, there was. It's a staple thing.
Yeah.
It is a staple thing to do. A lot of some bands will do it. The more grittier bands will do it, or something like that. Or sometimes they'll do a solo completely different from the verse or whatever they're singing, which is nice.
I would imagine a lot of bands, if they haven't thought of a solo yet, just do the existing melody line, and until we come up with something better, we'll just go with that.
At that point, we call that a. That's probably loosely connected to a descant.
Okay.
So what a descant is, like a different melody line, or it's basically we use descants in like church hymns a lot.
Right.
So a descant is like basically a different line on top of the main.
Oh, okay.
But it's like it has similarities on it. So why would I call that roughly a descant would be because it's like it's not the vocals, but it's a different instrument displaying what the vocals were singing.
Right. Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, that's why I call it loosely a descant.
Right.
I mean, if you had like a bunch of other instruments in there as well, the solo would become a soli.
Oh,
Yeah. There's a lot of weird terms and all that stuff. Like whenever I'm there, like I've put in a lot of effort with not only gigging but like learning theory and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like you'll see me there like I'll have to sit and ponder. I'll be like, what do we call that? You hear me do that a lot when talking to somebody.
Right. Yeah.
I have another friend. She's a real good songwriter. She got a few songs recorded. I want to get her on here, but she's so damn busy.
Okay.
She's always talking about music theory now because she's starting to learn it, which is nice.
Yeah.
And it's good that a lot of people want to learn that instead of just coming in learning chords and putting songs together. Don't get me wrong, people have done that and made millions.
Yeah.
Right? Beatles, Waylon Jennings, a bunch of other rockers and artists. But it's good to know theory in some aspect. Know your scales, know your modes.
Yep.
Know how key signatures work, know how time signatures work, and then go to town from there. Because you know why? You can make something weird simple. You can make complex simple.
Exactly. Like I took a fair amount of guitar lessons over the years from two people, but one in particular for years, and he was big on theory, and if it wasn't for that, I don't think I'd be able to write a song. Like I wouldn't have known about these common musical things unless I had studied it under my guitar teacher, unless he was ramming it down my throat, which he used to do. And at the time, you're thinking, why am I bothering with this? Just teach me a song. But it actually really helps more than you know. Until you don't really realize it until you actually go to write a song. It's like, oh, yeah, I guess I do know some basics. Yeah, because I'm going to need them.
Yeah, it's good to know. What I like is this one quote from Jacob Collier, and I say it all the time. Yeah. And he's big on theory. He knows it all. Yeah. And I think he was given like a master class or something out in like France or Montreal or something, one of the French spots. And he goes, "There's no such thing as a wrong note. Right. You're just not confident enough."
Right. Yeah.
Kind of coming back to Tom Waits thing. Yeah. And we were talking about confidence of pushing out something. Yeah. And that can apply to music, not just writing your songs or putting your chords together. It's just like there's no such thing as, I'll always say it about talking about musically, like about instruments and all that stuff. Yeah. It's just like there's never a wrong note. You're just not confident enough. Yeah. Yeah. Right? That's why, everyone's like, play the wrong note. It's jazz music. No, they deliberately make these chords. Yeah. For feel, for tension, for emotion, right? Yeah. Excuse me for yawning, but yeah, feel, tension, and emotion. Yeah. And it's all based on confidence, on how they want to display that song,
Oh, exactly.
And I do like that, just play whatever you want to play. Like, that main riff for Anti-Social Media, right? It feels minor. Yeah. But it's major. It's B-flat major. But I'm messing around with the Hendrix chord, basically. Yeah. The 7 sharp 9 there, because the sharp 9 is the same as the flat third, which is a minor third, and the 7 is a flat 7, which is a minor 7. So you're hearing those a lot, and you're thinking it's minor, right? Yeah. That's what I like about it. Is like, have the riff in mind, and then I'm playing 2 major 7 chords for my 4 and 5, and it's just like it's still major. And again, I'll say it every time someone talks about that song. I say it's inspired by Tush by ZZ Top. Right. Yeah. And they do that same thing. They mess around with the 7 sharp 9. Yeah. The bum bam 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 bam, right. Which is they play an F and B flat, which is the coming down, right? Yeah. So boom bam 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 boom boom boom. That's basically what inspired the whole song. Right. And it's just messing around with that Hendrix chord. Yeah. Right? And I even use Make Time as the Hendrix chord. I have that E7 sharp 9, the first chord you hear on that song. Yeah. And it's such a good chord because it just feels, it's rough. Yeah. Basically, it just gives you a bit of roughness. I do like messing around with stuff like that, and definitely inspirations for getting weird on stuff like that would probably have been, I Saw Her Standing There by the Beatles. Right. Yeah, and then just knowing chords or learning chords. Oh, like throughout the rest of probably like from 2020 to on. Mm-hmm. That's when I started taking like real extra seriousness on chords. Yeah. Because I could be like, yeah, here's this cool ass chord, and then I'd be like, here's the notes in that chord. And now it's just like, I want to play these cool ass chords. Yeah. And I think it was like 2017 and on is when I started like really honing down on it. Right. And then really showing it off in like 2021, yeah, and then just being like, hey, this is my song, like it, cool, don't like it, cool. Exactly. That's the thing. It's just like do what you want, Yeah. And then people are gonna like it.
Exactly. Oh, totally.
And of course, with your songs, people have liked them. They like them. And I mean, the views show it.
Yeah.
And people are like, "Oh man, is Ken coming out with another song?" I'm like, "Oh, when he's got another one ready,
Yeah.
it's good. It's you definitely have what's the word here? You've definitely put the impression on people throughout the years,
Yeah.
right? And I will say though, you know, I said you were to a moderate to low profile kind of guy when you're
Yeah.
starting out. And now it's like, as soon as we mention Ken,
Yeah.
if you're not there and we say Ken, and we're like, oh, Ken, right? I will say you have developed a notoriety growing in this decade of doing this.
Oh, I appreciate that. Yeah.
Yeah, and like people now, and again, you've been on 2 radio stations now.
Yep.
You've been on Dalhousie Campus Radio.
Yep.
And you've been on CIOE, Home of East Coast Music.
Yep. And God's Blood was on the
Q104 as
yep.
well, yes. Yep. And so 3 radio stations.
Yep.
You've hit HRM right now, or
yep.
you've hit the main HRM stations.
Yep.
Which is good. I can throw you a list of
please
some
do.
stations, and then you can just go out and email.
Yeah, we'll send them little Frank Zappas on the phone. See what they do with that.
Probably CBU will probably eat up that one.
Yeah.
Maybe do a little song as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're always looking for music.
Yeah, definitely. Oh yeah, 100% we'll do that.
And then try. I know there's one spot that's for blues in Fredericton. It's Rosie's Juke Joint.
Oh yeah.
Hit them up with those 2 songs as well.
Yeah.
I've never gotten something back from them, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Probably what's another one? Oh, another spot that got back to me was actually Grand Falls, Windsor, Newfoundland.
Yeah, no, I'd like to try Newfoundland. Definitely.
They have a blues station as well. I mean, all community radios have like different genre stations, but definitely hit up the ones that I got success from was Cape Breton.
Yeah.
Obviously, the 3 in our region.
Yeah.
Grand Falls, Windsor. Cape Breton, which is Sydney. That's where CBU is.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that I got the success from. For anti-social media. Of course, new song coming out tomorrow. I sent the email to the exact same spots again. I was like, I had this success rate.
Yeah.
I'll send it to these guys because they'll eventually look at it and take it.
Yeah.
So, and even Michelle as well, she was looking for more stations, and same with Daryl. And I was like, well, I have a list of them.
Yeah, yeah.
Like in the Maritimes alone, there is 23.
Wow.
We have 13 of them in Nova Scotia.
Yeah.
And then 5 in New Brunswick, 5 in Newfoundland. There's none in PEI, which is wild. I'm surprised there's not even a campus radio.
Wow.
In PEI, it's all Stingray. There's no community or campus radios.
Wow.
And Newfoundland's understandable. That's small, but New Brunswick's roughly the same size as us. You'd think they'd have more.
Yeah, you would think.
But no, big list. But there was only like the 5, and I like deliberately went Control F community and then Control F campus, and I was like 5.
Yeah.
5.
Wow.
We're definitely big on the music scene here. I'll tell you that one. Definitely a lot with local stations. Hell, even being in St. John, the music scene ain't nothing like Halifax.
No.
Which is sad because you're from Nova Scotia. You're from Halifax, you come over to Nova Scotia and you go, "What's poppin'?" And then it's not poppin'. And you're like. But I do have friends that are really trying to build up that music scene over in Uptown St. John, and they're doing the best they can, and there's a lot happening. And they're putting as much effort as they can, and it is pulling off. There's a lot of good musicians over there as well.
Oh God, yeah.
I haven't been to PEI to see what that's like, or I haven't been to Newfoundland to see what that's like, but definitely just these 2 neighboring provinces alone, definitely we beat them in community, but talent is equal. I will say that, and if you ever decide to go on vacation with the family over in New Brunswick, hit up open mics. They'll probably love that too.
Yeah. Oh, I will.
But it was good talking to you. Real good stuff as well.
It was a fun conversation, 100%.
And keep doing what you're doing. Keep writing good songs. Keep showing me songs from the vault of completed stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll keep working on that, all that fun stuff.
No, I really like the creative partnership. It's awesome.
Yeah, and I will say though, it's good that you got your songs on SoCan now,
yes.
which is good.
Yeah.
For better copyright, because you have your foot is in the door.
Yeah.
Basically, your whole leg's in the door at this point.
Whole leg in, yeah. Mhm.
So, and of course, being on CIOE and all that stuff, CIOE runs through SOCAN as well.
Yeah.
So if the songs are ever aired, you do get those SOCAN royalties, which is really nice. All local musicians, even doing this for a hobby, should definitely run through SOCAN, get your protection taken care of, get your ISRCs, your ISWCs, and all that fun stuff to make sure no one steals your songs.
Exactly.
But you are doing, good work. Again, I'll say, a lot of people have put more notice on you now.
Oh, thanks. I
with
appreciate
those songs, being out more, presenting, just playing what you want to play.
Yes.
And people are like, yeah, that's Ken. We know Ken. We like Ken.
Thanks. I appreciate that a lot, Mike.
You're welcome, man. And I mean, I'm saying from what I've seen.
Yeah.
Everybody there in our, Sackville, Bedford group, maybe sometimes even Halifax groups, or Dartmouth groups, if we go out there.
Yeah.
People are like, oh yeah, Ken. Yeah, we know Ken. We like Ken.
Exactly.
Right? And that's good, people that know you.
Yeah,
and
you
they
gotta
appreciate your
get
work.
it out there through the radio or, just playing live. You gotta get it to the people.
Yeah, and if they love it, it's 10 times better.
Exactly. You
Right?
gotta make them love it.
Of course. Well, Ken, thank you so much for coming
Handshake
out
on the
today.
radio. You guys can't hear that, but it's there.
This is episode 5 of the Bedroom Studios official podcast with Michael Butts and Ken Cashin. Signing off. See you guys next week.